that is the playlist. It's just starting at the wrong place. We were just talking about how to do auto tiling. So I want the auto tiling to be fast and not to generate the underlying data connectivity data. I want that in a global array, so any system, collision, extrusion, water, etc. can use it. Okay, so previously what was happening was chunk loaded on the client side. Then we'd have collision mesh made from chunk, and we'd also have medium model made from chunk, and high model made from chunk. What I want is to actually do chunk loaded and then smart padded array made from chunk, and then the collision, all of these, the collision mesh, the medium model and the high model, all use the smart padded array. The reason being is that there's so many of the systems use connectivity information that it makes a lot more sense to just have it in one particular data structure. Is this auto tiling? Yes, definitely. Yeah, that's exactly it. And this has got more, note that it's got the inner corners, I think. I'd have to zoom in. Well, I can zoom in. I'd have to check. Yeah, oh yeah, it's definitely got the internal corners. So this kind of auto tiling, let's have a look. So if we just look at the 4 neighbours, this is the simplest auto tiling. 4 neighbours gives 2, 4, 8, 16 permutations, right? But if we throw in the corners as well, we've now got 8 corners. We've got 256 combinations. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. What am I talking about? 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256. So, except it doesn't work out quite like that. Hello IS96. I'll do this for 3D as well. No, not yet, but that is an interesting extension. Because if this is solid and that's solid, then we don't actually care less about this. So there are some combinations that simply don't make sense. Let me see about drawing these. So there's, if all of them are active, then there would be if none of them, those are obvious, and then if those are active. So if I'm just looking at this, for example, does this and this influence this texture? And the answer is no. So the corners only come into play if there's a difference between that shape and that shape. That's it. That's the only time that this comes into play, is when there's a certain combination and we've got north, the 2 adjacent sides are both open. Because if that's not there, it makes no difference whatsoever to this. And good. So that actually means there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the question is how many of the 2, 4, 8, 16 combinations have 2 adjacent faces, have at least 2 adjacent faces turned on, and then those would only be multiplied by 2. Because then there's this on and off. Right, but there was me saying that this is going to give 1, 2, 4, 16 different textures for this guy in the middle based on here. That's not true, because if I use indirection and texture rotation, I could actually just have one texture like this and then use that to rotate around, so that texture would be the same as that one rotated. Now the point is you get a choice of whether to do that, but by reusing textures and rotating them, we're going to get a lot of reusage. And that is key to keeping the textures down. So I like that. I am happy. The remaining question is VX or XP. No, because I still don't. That seems to be subdividing more. So I'm just going to ignore that point. It's not VX or XP from what I understood. It's neither of them. So what am I doing? Okay, so before I actually continue, well, I could do what I could do for good auto. Well, let me load up my blocks mods. No, it's in defaults. There we go. So this is my blocks definition. So I've got the grass block has UVs of 3001. That's determining which faces. Now this is actually going to end up having to be in direction, right? Because we're going to have some complicated stuff here. Yeah, it's going to be way more complicated. But that's okay, because we can still do the simple case. Like mud has the same textures on all 6 sides, and the 2,0 is a UV lookup into our texture, and it's the same for all 6 sides. So that's the simplest it can be. But if you want to specify everything on each face, you can do that. But we actually can go even further and have indirection into this. So I was saying I'd already kind of started the auto tiling stuff, and I had. But we need to add loads more modes and more indirection. It's going to be great fun. So that's what we shall do. All right. However, all of this is actually kind of pointless as long as I've got outstanding code that needs merging. Because originally what I really want to do is to get a new version out. To see if anybody can get a reproducible crash, probably. Git commit. Git commit m. Remove broken particles. Right, what was I doing here? Is out of date. Git commit high LOD. Prevent high LOD generation if chunk is already being generated. It's already having high LOD generated for it. Alright, so we're going to let that build, and then I've got some rather large merging I need to do. Well, that's weird. That is really weird. Synergy is starting to interfere, which is a bit annoying. Alright. What is this music? Final Fantasy VIII. So let's have a look. We've got slight retidy global includes, remove unneeded old files. Added names for commonly used vectors. High detail always on. Crosses and poles don't prevent high LOD appearing. Added delayed shutdown interface. That's an interesting one. And high LOD prevent high LOD generation. Let's have a look at that on its own. Include algorithm. Okay. Standard remove. chunk IDs in progress. And if out of date, we check. Destroy, mark entity for destruction. I should get rid of that code. Because I thought, remember, I thought that's what was going wrong, but it wasn't. It was the badness. It was the devil. Anyway, back to this. So we'll get rid of that code. Mark entity for destruction. Destroy marked entities. Mark for destruction. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's important. I was actually doing a copy of a vector there. That's a bit silly. And destroy all marked entities. Hello Kitty. Yes. I actually forgot I was wearing the hat then. I was like, the camera's not on the cat. Alright. Right, so we've gained 200 lines of code. Have we really? Yeah, I guess we have. And there's a load of renaming. But all of this stuff I like. Using namespace vec3, uint3. That's actually ridiculous. I don't need that, but yeah, there's the delayed shutdown stuff. This is all in all pretty good. I just did a bit of rewriting there. High-log block shader, yeah, to turn this into nicer names. Yeah, I recognise all of this. There's nothing too hairy hanging about. EBO out of date and implement its last frame of reference valid, yes. Pixel. Yeah, and I got rid of R new. Yeah, that all looks good. Gosh, we're at the end. Oh yes. Okay, so actually I'm quite happy with that one. So all I need to do is, oh, it doesn't build. This one didn't build, damn it. Why did this not build? Error, find is not a member of standard. Entities.cpp, okay. I'm pretty sure it's algorithm, but let's just check. Yeah, it says it's an algorithm. Okay, so I've got a add So we're going to have to wait even longer now. Oh, it was Linux anyway. Oops. They're probably going to fail. The Macs will work and the Windows will fail, but Linux. Yep, I'm going to have to wait for that. And then once this is merged into this branch, separate log systems, then I've got the granddaddy of them all merges. Now, there's not going to be any merge conflicts, but I must do one last pass through the entire pull request to check I haven't missed anything really sodding obvious. Because I had this long list, and I've deferred a hell of a lot. So I've got rid of the still to do, but there is a lot here. And I should stick this back into Trello. I really need to have one sort of location for doing this. But the goal is to get out a new version tonight, because it's been quite a long time. Yeah, it was just the Linux, I think. So, So let's have a look at this block definitions. Right, what would I be doing? Okay, so local, new blocks, new block definitions. So let's have a look at what sort of auto tiling information I could put in. So let's have a look, name equals grass. So if grass was normal and it just had one repeated texture, then UVs is actually, that's fine. We can keep this. So grass dot one texture, and if we had grass dot 2x2, in fact, let's try and do this. Repeat. Okay, so how would we do this? Auto tile. So, what am I trying to say? So the bottom faces, these are going to be the same, actually. I kind of want Kawaii Robdes. Yes. Hello. I kind of want to be able to specify different rules for different faces. So that might actually be the way to go. So this would be, how would we write this? Top equals 3, 0. Bottom equals 0, 0. And then northeast, southwest equals 1, 0. Now, that's slightly more long-winded than the simpler cases, but it's more like self-documenting code, right? Because it says top is 3, 0, that's okay. But I guess what I need to think about is if I wanted to change to a rule. So if the top was a 2x2 repeat, but the sides and that weren't, so specify the mode, and then we've got more data here that we need. So the grass, if it was a 2x2, we'd have to specify the 4 textures, which is actually what we've got here. Moshi mochi. Moshi moshi. So what's the simplest way I can do this? I don't know. I don't know. That's actually quite nice, because then we could do, if you want all of these the same, you could then do top, bottom, northeast, southwest. I wouldn't say this isn't going to be complete swizzling. It'll be northeast, southwest, top, bottom, whatever. To be honest, as it's read once, we can probably give all of the variations. But we need a way to specify that the top is now something different. I mean, I would probably do this anyway. So let's go and have a look and see what this... Get this out of the way. So that starts to make more sense. But I mean, you could do the same here. If you wanted the bottom to have that same auto tiling, you could. Hello, Jodie. Yes, Mrs. Hoverer.
I'm hovering.
I don't know if you can be seen. Here's hoping. Oh, yeah, you can. Right. Why do you look so startled? Is it because I'm about to punch you? Of course not. Not with people watching. That's an ear. All day.
There's an ear.
Yeah, so that kind of looks... That looks alright. And then grass top mode equals that, and then onto UVs. So the UVs are always going to be an XY pair into the texture. That was an aborted sound. So on credit X, thank you for joining. And so let's think about, that's auto tiling. So that's a 2x2, but let's think of something far more complicated, right? So let's go for grass with an auto tile, a proper on the top. So grass top, that's 2x2. How many times? Right, local, grass, top, auto tile. With what? Does Rob... Hey Jodie, does Rob speak like this? Yes.
Speak like what?
You know, what you're doing here is amazing. In what respect? As in...
putting up with me?
Putting up with...
Oh no.
It is pretty amazing.
I'm actually eating his brains. It makes me smarter.
Equals auto tile. Now, UVs. This is where it's going to... I guess it's going to get a bit rubbish. So we've got... We need to specify... sorry, yeah, this is an auto tile... auto tile 4, so it checks in the 4 directions. We'll come up with better names, narrating everything.
Yes, Rob narrates everything in real
I'm
life.
going to sleep now. I'm dropping off to sleep. I'm not thinking about shouting. I'm thinking, are you asleep? Are you asleep? You appear to not be asleep. That's pretty much how it goes. So we need to work out, like I'm not going to specify all 16 directions here, up, down, left, right. So what's the nicest way to do this? I guess it's just a selection. Oh, I don't like this. Don't like it. I'm starting to think these pairs should be like this, and you'll see why in a second.
More braces are better braces.
Well, they're pairs of coordinates, so that does actually make a bit more sense.
Why have you got used specific UVs for granite?
Why what?
Have you got specific UVs for block types?
What, down here?
Yeah, what's the UV pairings?
That matches the texture underneath, so it looks different.
That's really boring.
Rob, what's my history with game development? A very sad, lonely one. Guys, if being me isn't warning enough, if you have a career in games development, you might end up attached to someone like Jodie.
Literally attached.
Literally attached. She's. I met her at work. What's my history? I've been doing commercial games one way or another for about, how old am I? 40. About 18, 19 years. So I started working on the PlayStation 1, which actually isn't strictly true. I started working on a Pocket Station, but that went nowhere. Right. Trying to think of this. So the reason I was putting them in braces. Oh, gosh, man.
I work on Total War.
So, I mean, I could actually just do this. I could actually force people to write the entire thing. And but that's far too complex. What does Jodie develop at the moment? Yeah, she's on Total War Warhammer, yes. Oh, and those 15 secret games, which are all Total War Warhammer.
Total War.
That's a list. 16 things. Bit 1 equals north. Bit 2 equals south. Bit 3 east.
Go and buy Total War Warhammer on Steam, because it's the fantasy Warhammer and fantasy is better. There are less space marines.
Aren't there about 34 cases? No, I'm not looking at diagonals yet, Ray March. What I'm trying to do is find a nice way of actually writing these. So it should be north-south, east-west. So that looks rubbish, north-east, south-west. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep that north-east, south-west for this. Anyway. So the first one, 0, is empty. So that's going to be empty. I should actually draw some, shouldn't I? Wow, Jodie is more pro. Where is her game dev stream?
Much pro. This is me rotating the matrix.
She does stream
round
occasionally.
And round.
Are you accumulating error?
Yeah, and then I realise I'm rotating it the wrong way anyway, and I'm not rotating it around the origin.
There you go.
Everything is broken.
Look at that. Oh, I could have done without the kappa at the end because I believed you. Anyway, the reason I'm putting these in brackets is that if there's just 2 digits, then we'll read it as a UV pair like this. But I also want these to be mode equals blah. So these could actually have pretty much infinitely, well, not infinitely, but have nested rules. So the up one is actually a 2x2. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm thinking, guess whose game has a water shader in it?
I don't know. You tell me.
Ooh, diorama in VR. Falling forever, endlessly.
Skip that for the time being. Teasel, why do you look so alert?
She's so beautiful.
She is beautiful, isn't she?
Let's put Teasel on the stream.
Yeah, let's put Teasel on the stream and then you don't have to eat my hair.
I don't have to do that.
Is that just for fun? Go and sit behind Teasel. Oh, it's got a black chair.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, move the chair out the way. Do you know what? Do you remember, didn't I come to the conclusion recently that evening streams were totally pointless? Have you read that last comment by Tall and Happy?
But nice to roll. Can't help you. You can do it. You can. He is. He's not just average. He's very average. Isn't he, Teasel? Yay!
The duck has returned.
Say, go, Papa Rob!
She was cheering for me then. Evening streams, why do I bother? Tell me why I bother. Do I bother?
What do you mean, why'd you bother?
Because this is so unproductive.
You type and I'll talk.
Yeah, that's not going to help.
Development is happening! Go games!
Alright, so that would be 4 rules in there. Okay. Why do you harass my cat? So we've got a potential of 16 textures there for the different combinations. Oh, she's going gammy. She's doing the funny thing where she gets super happy. She's going. She's
melting. No. Keep working, Rob. Come on. Slap
All right, you guys can just look at Teasel while I look over this. If you end up with auto tiling without corners, people are going to be really sad. You mean the inner corners, right? This is the funny thing you tried to make it 2 weeks ago. It is, and I'm not very good at it. And Jodie's better at it than me. There we go. She's leaning.
Massage. Yeah.
But she's not. She didn't lick you then at the end.
No, she says it
right. She says,
that's enough,
if
guys.
you do that, I'm calling the police.
No, there's a lick.
Sorry, Ray March. Yeah, you'll be able to do more corners. I'm just doing this as the auto tile 4. What that would be was oh, you can't see because I'm looking at the cat. So the mode there for the one you're talking about would be auto tile 8, but I'm doing it one step at a time first. If you ever get a sub button, this should be the alert. Someone made clips of Teasel looking gammy. Funny, not gammy. Right, so that's what it's going to have to be. So let's redo the auto tiling. Yes, Teasel, you'll have to do it. Oh, you can't see, guys. She's looking very happy. Spice, June Cat.
June Cat controls all the spices, don't you, darling?
So I guess what keeps Jodie and I together is the fact that neither of us can comprehend reality and instead prefer to just roll around making cat noises. Isn't that right, darling? We actually believe Teasel's a cat and not another person that we've... She's just asleep on that. She's just asleep on Jodie's hand now.
It's fine.
Jodie, you can't move now.
No, I have to stay here forever.
Jodie in RSI incident.
That's not really repetitive strain, is it? It's just
it
not
is.
moving at all.
Repetitive sleeping. Oh, I can't do this.
No.
What's going on?
You code. You're better at that.
Oh, thanks. That's the kindest thing you've ever said. What does auto tile 8 mean? It means it takes in the corner pieces as well. No, Ray, since when has Minecraft had auto tiling? No, it doesn't. So, you've asked the difference. So auto tile. Oh, that's. If I'm going to do a poor quality image, at least make it visible. So auto tile 4 only takes these into account, and an auto tile 8. They're called 9 slices, funnily enough, but takes all of these into account. So Minecraft doesn't have auto tiling in. That was a mod. I mean, what's the difference in artist workload? Well, they might only want to do. They might only want to do this. Yeah, it's not fully like 9 slices. No, I know that, but you get the idea from it, right? Got to list 16 things. So okay, so let's go and make some. Can I steal? Is there anywhere I can steal a row of 18? No, not really. So let's go and make some. I'm just going to go and tramp over that. So that means we're going to have 1, 14, 2, 14, 3, 14. To be honest, it might be easier for me to, if they're going to be in a row like this, which would actually be quite convenient, to have some automatic specifier, but okay. Hilarious, it should start at 0. Now this is a bit of a boast, so there's clearly going to be, someone will come up with a shorthand way for specifying this. But basically that's all of them, so if it's bit 1 north, okay, so let's just go and deface these. So that's every even numbered one is going to be up, so that's that. And then every east one is going to, oh, I need to make sure I don't get, it's going to be every second one. 1, 2. Do. Oh, that looks wrong. No, it's not. Oh, thanks, Jessica Mack. I just can't quite follow. Well, I'm doing the simpler cases first because it's going to cause problems later on if I don't. So the next one is south is 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then finally we have this. So that's every combination for auto tiling with just taking 4 directions into account. There we go. So if we were to correctly draw this, which we won't, it would look correct. So let's get rid of all of this guff. How it works. You're adding all the faces and changing them according to the faces near them. Yes. Yes. So basically, if you have 2 blocks that are of identical types, or more specifically have identical textures, then they count as influencing each other, and therefore it changes which texture it uses. Oh, I didn't even notice that happened. Hello, Jessica. Yep. And yeah. Yeah, I trust my mods. Good, ban them. Goodbye. It's done. No going back. Anyway, yes. So, how are things, Jessica? How is how? I don't even know if you're around. What am I doing? So the grass needs to be. We need to put a different specification in, so it'll load it differently. Grass, right? So we'll do that. And what's going to happen is we'll check for the modes auto tile, and that will be good enough. I actually think Yeah, let's get rid of all of this. Just get rid of it. No, auto tile 1. It's going to be nil otherwise. Do 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 do. Can anyone in chat help calculate the number of cases for auto tile 8? Yeah. Don Milladon, thanks. Alright. So let's go and see how our actual oh, it didn't build. Sods. Oh, hang on a sec, that's a bit odd. The Windows 8 x86 didn't build. Well, that's weird. That is very odd. It says if the Windows x86 version isn't building, I think that's probably something on the build machine. iRazor X. Yeah, it kind of looks like that, yes. No, Ray March, you see, you confused me because you've come up with solutions that I wasn't going to do any of them. So you seem to be stuck on how GameMaker does it, which kind of constructs things automatically. I'm saying for each combination of adjacent edges, you can being the operative word rather than must, you can supply a specific texture. So the stuff that you showed me, or I think I looked at correctly when you mentioned the GameMaker stuff, I'm not doing anything like that at all. GameMaker's way is just more complicated than needed to begin with. So... Sorry, let me put it like this. It's more complicated on the part of the programmer me. But I mean, we can fix it. I just need to get something working with the... I need to prove that I can get the tile recognition, the adjacency information correct first. So I'm going to still merge that. I think there's a bug on here. If the x64 builds, but the x86 doesn't, that's not this. So I'm actually going to merge this. Why are the builds made in GitHub? They're not really made in GitHub. They're triggered by GitHub commits. Right, so we'll delete that branch. I'm going to go to game. I should have done this first, actually. Yeah, oh, that was major, wasn't it? Oh. So GitHub doesn't build them, it triggers builds and it reports on that build. Right. Now, we've got a lot of stuff going on here. I've changed the shaders. I think I've already gone through all of this, so I actually don't need to do it again. Destroy extruded texture, game mode default, yeah, I commented that out. Initial jump speed. Okay, so I'm going to turn, I need to undo that because otherwise I'll check in a broken version of Tiny Galaxy. stash, git checkout dev. Feature separate tidy. I think that's, I'm okay now. I've got cache prevent chat overflow. That doesn't look like it's even mine, but okay. Where am I? So normal mon. Yeah, no, the actual build results are uploaded to a different FTP. So GitHub doesn't have the releases. Yeah. Git checkout. Separate log systems. Okay, git stash. That was hanging around a bit. Git branch minus D bug fix. Okay, I didn't know that must have been ages old. Right, git stash apply should work without a merge issue. Yeah, it does. Good. Actually, git stash. I'm going to stash that again. I've just realised I've got to make another change. Can't type. Git status. Git branch minus L. No, okay, alright, that is fine. Alright, so I've got to quickly go and fix Tiny Galaxy because, again, if I check it in now, it will be broke. Well, it won't be broken, it's just that I've given you all of the options, all of the inventory items to start with, so that's a bit silly, and you jump too high. So that should be fine. So I'm going to just quickly try and run Tiny Galaxy and check that that's all right. If one of the builds is broken, like if it's not building the windows correctly, then I'm not going to be able to do a release tonight. Yeah, I mean, if you don't buy into the need for version control, then you're not going to learn to love Git just because you have to. Not really. Version control software for anybody, and I say this knowing that there are times in the past I haven't used it, and every time I've not used it in the past, I'm an idiot. I'm stupid. Right? There's no excuse not to use version control. Game dev on this, like it's only 82 quid. Oh, XP coin. Are you trying to buy all of them? Oh, it's only got one joypad. How rubbish. So those the XP coin. Have you actually got a Neturosi? You must have, right? Didn't you? I hated the texture of it. Hated the texture of it. It made it. Thinking about it now, it makes my skin crawl. Warranty seal. That looks like that warranty seal's broken. Alright, let's try building and running. Okay, so I shouldn't be able to jump up there, and I shouldn't be able to delete things. No, that's fine. And I shouldn't be able to get past there. No. Yeah, that's fine. That's working. All right, let's commit that. Oh, I should build it in debug because it's actually checks for errors then. But Oh, dear me. Git push. Cool. Alright, let's go back and have a look at this. Commented that out, that's fine, that can stay commented out. Yeah, that's all okay. That's all okay. Conversation, merge pull request. Delete branch. Good. Good, good, good. Oh. Thanks, Bar. Oh, git branch minus D feature. Should probably be a bit careful in case I need to make any more changes. All right. Git stout. I was thinking you could take Dharma as a Lua learning platform like the NetYorosi was. Yes, I think so. For game dev. Well, yes, exactly. In fact, we should start collating a list of other indie games and things to have little references to in. Let's see. Like Hidden Room with. Alright. Interesting. This failed, and this looks like. Look, it didn't even start. Yeah, error in run process. It just failed. So interestingly enough, the build after. Oh, paging X-Force. Oh no, it's a scroll down. No, it did build. So that was a one-off. So that's actually pretty rare. Normally the build machine works fine, but that, yeah, it's all right. So I'm expecting that to build, which means I can do a new version. We need a Gun Hero reference and a Staxel reference, definitely, yeah. Well, there's a difference. There's those games that I've got permission to do stuff in. And then there's ones like if I wanted to do something like to Star Citizen, it'll have to be enough that I don't just rip them off. All right. So while that's building, because there's going to be a couple more builds to go, I'm going to have a look at the block definitions. So this is our structure. Each block definition gets told if it's transparent, if it hides matching, is it solid, is it liquid, is it a jump pad? And its shapes. Is it a cube? What are the shapes? Cube, cross or pole at the moment. I don't get why you would reference a game in a game, reference something interesting. There's a couple of reasons. One, it's kind of cute. And two, it gives it's a very cheap way of getting other people to discuss it. So let's say somebody does, you know, on not No Man's Sky, it's a terrible thing, but if somebody who plays Manifold Garden or follows it sees it, then they might go, oh, that's really cool. It becomes a discussion point, right? So what's this going to do? The tile definition currently has a mode, so I'm going to actually change that. So if I look at my go to the home world, MacGuffin, auto tiling first. Yeah, so what we're going to do, auto tiling. One, calculate auto connectivity information in the padded cell, smart padded array. Load in simple auto tile format and use it for top face only. 3, apply to different sides. 4, allow per face rotation, and then 5, allow let's do something like allow repeat 2 by 2 again, and 6, allow auto tile 4 to use nested repeat 2 by 2s. And then we can 7 add more types. 8, get textures to grow around edges to different faces. Right, where are we? Oh, you're still, but then it's still 45. Yeah, ray march. No, it doesn't. Because the point is, I'm allowing per face rotation. So that's the big deal, really. So I need to have a think about how this face UVs. It's got 4 vertices, up to 4 vertices. Right, well that's not going to work, is it? Union, repeat, struct. Oh, come on. So repeat 1 by 1, there's only got 1 face UV. Why has that got 4 vertices? So what's it going to mean for a vertical auto tile like in the orange extrusion design we had on Discord? Orange extrusion design we had on Discord.